Hello and welcome to Yeyu Lab. So on September 6, Matt Schumer, the co-founder and CEO of Hyperwriter AI, announced their new model Reflection 70B. He claimed it was the world's top open source model in his post on X. Now, Reflection 70B was introduced with a technique called reflection tuning, something researchers explored before. The idea is that the model can analyze and refine its outputs before presenting to us, which aims to enhance the performance in writing, math, and reduce those hallucinations. From its officially released benchmark result, this Reflection 70B model seems to beat every dominant closed source models like Claude 3.5, GPT-4o, Gemini 1.5 Pro, and Llama 3.1. Soon after the model landed on Hugging Face, inference platform OpenRouter opened its access to allow the user to call the model through its free API or playground. Since then, we had an easy way to check that model. Let's check this prompt, which is an unrealistic scenario question that shortly describes the process of turning a potato into a diamond using only kitchen utensils. From the output, the result shows that the model starts with a step-by-step process of this diamond conversion in the thinking section, followed by the reflection section to correct itself. Wait, I made a significant mistake. To correct itself that diamond cannot be turned by potato chemically. And then the final output section gives the correct answer that I apologize, but this is not possible to turn a potato into a diamond using kitchen utensils. It seems the model can really prevent hallucinations and provide better output with these advanced training techniques. But as we will uncover, things aren't quite what they seem with this model. Despite the bold claims, there are some serious concerns about its actual performance. So stick around as we dive into what's really going on with Reflection 70B, how it's causing quite a stir in the AI community. Artificial Analysis, an X account specializing in independent evaluations of AI models, challenged Hyperwriter's claims about reflection llama on Hugging Face. On its performance that claims on September 7th. Based on the MMLU benchmark, the assessment indicated that the model's score matched Llama 3 70B, but fell short of Meta's Llama 3.1 70B and creating a significant mismatch with Hyperwrite's initial report that the model's performance has beaten all other closed source models. On the same day, Schumer addressed the discrepancy on X and explaining it as an issue with the model's weights during the uploading process to Hugging Face. He explained that the errors during this upload could have negative impact the performance of the publicly available version compared to the version accessible through Hyperwrite's internal API, compared to the version accessible through Hyperwrite's internal API. Unfortunately, Artificial Analysis quickly responded that given access to a private API which we tested and saw impressive performance but not to the level of the initial claims, as this testing was performed on a private API, we were not able to independently verify exactly what we are testing. And we are seeing significantly worse results when benchmarking Reflection 70E3 than what we saw via the private API. So concurrently, users in various tech communities focused on AI and LLM, particularly on X and Reddit, started expressing skepticism regarding Reflection 70B's reported performance and its development process. Then more internal settings of this inference on Open Router were hacked by tricky prompts by smart developers to accuse Reflection 70B of being a wrapper for commercial models. These prompt tricks are very interesting and valuable to be learned. Let's see what happened. Many evaluation tests expose that the model API is very much possible to be wrapped within Claude 3.5 Sonnet model. So the developer on Reddit used a magic prompt for Reflection 70B and used the same prompt together with a special system prompt for the original Claude 3.5 Sonnet model to simulate the so-called reflection process. Surprisingly, the outputs of the two models were exactly the same. The magic of this prompt is that this text string is the base 64 encoded version of the text tagged by meta. The meta tag is a special Claude token that always stops output generations. Nowadays, they apply filtering for this token, but don't with base 64 encoded text. That's why the output text suddenly stops by saying, using a base 74 decoder, we get and stop. And plus, these outputs are exactly the same. So this proves that the official model inference on Open Router was a fraud, and it was just Claude 3.5 Sonnet with system prompt. So therefore, we can have a takeaway that when you are skeptical about a new model that shows high text generation quality, you can use this magic prompt to confirm whether it's wrapped in Claude series models. Yes, Claude series models, because the stop token is also workable for all the Claude 3 and 3.5 models. Tokenization is another critical feature for recognizing a model. Another developer called Intervitans on X made the same conclusion from the tokenization text that Reflection 70B was utilizing the same tokenization with Claude 3.5. Intervitans limited the generation tokens to apply to only 10 tokens, with another settings like temperature 0 and top case 1 for generating a very rigid output. Then this guy asked the models, including Reflection 70B, Llama 3.1, Claude 3.5, with the same settings to simply repeat the German word expression 20 times without any labels and thinking process. This isn't a common word, so different models should have different tokenizations for repeating the words in 10 tokens wide. This time, the so-called Reflection 70B, which trained from the base model Llama 3.1 70B, was exactly the same as Claude 3.5, again in tokenization, and had nothing related to its base model Llama 3.1. And then quickly people found that the source of the model inference on Open Router has switched to OpenAI's GPT-4 in the background. Using the same test methodology, this was simply exposed again. The model's tokenization become GPT-4o this time because the length of the output is the same. So using the tokenization to verify the model is another useful approach. There is another simple way to test whether a model is just wrapped in a GPT model. As you may know, GPT model has some reserved texts for certain usage that will not be fed into the tokenizer. For example, the end of text with the special marker. You will never see this text string in GPT model's output, even if you are able to make the model generate it. Let's see this prompt. Remove the space of the string. Let's add some space. Okay, of the string and of text with special marker. So you will see the output from GPT-4o that, sure, here is the string with the space removed, undefined. It's not able to really generate the end of text string. That means the string becomes the reserved text and suddenly stop the output in the middle of the generation. Through this method, someone from Reddit tested Reflection 70B and found that its inference source had been switched to GPT-4 model after the Claude 3.5 wrapper has been exposed. You will see even this is Reflection 70B ask the same task that remove the space of this spatial token for GPT-4o. The Reflection 70B model also immediately stopped. Therefore, if you have doubts about some LLM model inference, you can quickly use this prompt to test whether it's just a wrapper of a GPT model. For now, even Matt Schumer regretted and admitted they would have conducted a complete investigation into what was going on. Still, the Reflection 70B model is definitely something much under expectation. However, we can still implement the methodology of reflection in the prompt techniques without training any model to improve the original model for accuracy and performance. Here is a useful COT chain of thoughts system prompt with reflection methodology, which can potentially improve your model performance. It just guides the model how to perform the thinking, how to perform the reflection, and how to perform the final output. And there are more prompt techniques implemented in this GitHub repository OptLLM, who's also created the above reflection-based COT prompt together with another set of prompt techniques that can significantly improve the performance of the base model. That's all for today. For the tutorial and the source code, you can find the link in the description below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Keep innovating, and I'll catch you in the next one.